What's going on, you guys, Raider Nation? Just the news, of course, broke about Antonio Brown the night before. First of all, I just wanted to wait, make sure nothing crazy happens or there's no blocking or rescinding of this trade. We all saw what happened with the Buffalo Bills earlier. And of course, I think about the time Chris Paul was blocked from the Lakers, but that's another story. Antonio Brown to the Oakland Raiders for a third and a fifth round pick. Now that's a pretty cheap pickup when you think about it. There was not a whole lot there. Of course, we all know why, and that's because of the baggage. Well documented, there was a whole class within the Steelers. They were mediocre. The Raiders helped that out because they came up short of the postseason by about a game. And all the tension just builds up when you're losing. It all gets exposed. So we all know there was drama happening with Antonio Brown and others. And when you're openly shopping a guy, no matter how talented he is, you're forced to take a low offer. Teams have the bad leverage on this. So third and fifth, it sounds good. Sounds all right. Now, of course, there's the problem. We all know he's a cancer, historically speaking. But right now, things look good on the field. The wide receiving group is a lot better. There's all the talks about how the Raiders got a first. They gave up Amari Cooper for a first and Antonio Brown. Now they gave up a third and fifth, and then you factor in Mack being traded for two firsts. Okay, you have that whole swap package going on. Really, this feels very standard Jon Gruden to go for a veteran. He's going to pay the veteran. He doesn't pay the younger guy in his prime. I'm not too worried about Antonio Brown and his age. 30, 31 is not that old to me for a wide receiver, unlike a running back. But as said, being a cancer in the locker room is the bigger issue, first and foremost. And here's the other problem. The Raiders are supposed to be rebuilding, yet you're bringing in a guy like Antonio Brown, so you got all the expectations in the world. So where do you go from there? You got to fix your defense. That's the biggest issue is defense. There's a million needs. Antonio Brown right now, he can make this team a little better, go 5-11, 6-10. Is that a big deal? No. There's still a lot of problems with this team that got to be fixed. So am I happy? No. Am I mad? No. They didn't give up a whole lot, but they also got a long way to go. Maybe it's just because in the back of the mind, I'm thinking about the time Randy Moss came over to the Raiders and then dogged it. He tanked it. And then we all know what happened when he was sent over to New England. Because they had, 23 touchdowns that following year he was traded? Yeah, about that. I just don't want it to be one of those situations. I think about things like that all the time, bad memories. Losing's just ingrained in me, as it has the last decade plus. So Raiders apparently want to win now by picking up Antonio Brown, but you got to show me something. And here's the one distinction, of course. If you're a Raiders fan, you know this team of the decade's distinction. I kind of cling to things like this, but the Raiders, in every year of their existence, no other franchise has done this. It's made the conference championship game each decade. From 1969, where they lost to the Jets, from the 70s, where they won one Super Bowl, to the 80s, where they won two Super Bowls. And even in the early 90s and in the early 2000s, they made the conference championship game at minimum. Well, that distinction goes out the window if they don't do it in 2019. This past decade, they haven't done a whole lot except one wild card berth, and that distinction goes to hell. So yeah, that's what I want to happen this fall because of that distinction. But to get there, they're going to have a lot of holes to work on, most notably offensive line and defense. Now, some will cite Derek Carr threw about 4,000 yards with a bunch of sacks and a terrible offensive line. A lot of it, there's a lot of garbage time in that, but hey, I don't think Carr is the issue, and now I don't think they're going to trade Derek Carr unless they get blown away with an offer. So pretty good chance Carr is going to be the quarterback for this last year in Oakland, which I believe they just put out a deal for. But you got to fix your offensive line. You got a lot of holes to fix. It doesn't mean anything other than maybe improving this team by 1 or 2 wins. So congratulations for those that wanted Antonio Brown. I just hope he's not a cancer. That's about all I can say on this trade. As I said, Gruden paid the veteran. He wasn't willing to pay Khalil Mack. It's just one of those things. I think he's now going to be the third highest paid player that's not a quarterback in the NFL behind Mack and Aaron Donald. So, let that sink in there. I'm just kind of whatever on that. It's not my money, but there's a lot of holes. You got to fix them. Let me know what y'all thought about this trade. We'll see you guys later.